I will call the meeting for Seniors and Veteran Affairs to order. Madam Clerk, can you do roll call?
Commissioner Kanizik?
Here.
Commissioner Hattis?
Present.
Commissioner Baydoun? Commissioner Scott?
Present.
Chair Baker McCormick?
She's a mute. Mute yourself, girl.
Okay. Yesterday, it was sent yesterday. This is Baydoun. He's going to.
Oh yeah, I see his name popping up right now. So he's
okay.
Working.
Great. Okay.
Okay.
Say
All right.
present, Madam Chair.
Yes, I'm here. Present.
Okay.
Commissioner Baydoun present.
Okay, you have a quorum present.
Thank you. Next item.
B, Chairwoman's remarks.
I just want to start by saying that we need to look at what we're going to do, and I think I talked to or sent the Director of Veterans Affairs a memo about setting up a programming for Veterans Day in November. So I assume he'll have some information on that. But I do want to ask the committee about what your ideas are for an op-ed that we can relay in reference to what we are doing in the area of, in our areas, in our individual districts for our veterans, any special events, and how maybe we can work together to come up with something for veterans and Veterans Day. So that's just something for the committee to think about. If you have any ideas, I'd like to start working towards that. Thank you. And next item.
C, approval of the minutes from August 6, 2020.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Support.
So it's been properly moved and supported. Any discussion? There's no discussion. We can vote on the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? If none, the motion passes. Next item.
Item D1 under new business, a department update from Lisa Whitmore Davis, Director of the Department of Senior Services.
Thank you, Ms. Whitmore Davis. You have the floor.
Thank you, Chair McCormick, and thank you so much to your committee and for this opportunity to share and provide an update on the Wayne County Department of Senior Services. Just to share some of our data, we report to ASA, which is the state of Michigan, how many people that we serve in Wayne County. The week of September 21st was our last reporting date, and we served, our home delivered meals served was 11,708 home delivered meals, and our congregate drive up participants were 985 meals shared through the congregate drive up meal program. As you all, I've updated and shared with you all in various parts of this pandemic, we had to reconfigure how we serve our congregate meal program as we are no longer able to congregate face to face. I wanted to let the task force know that we are looking at ways and how we're going to innovate our program in this new fiscal year and going forward, how we're going to serve our older adults trying to reincorporate hot or warm food, because right now we are serving all frozen. And we want to reincorporate providing hot food and fresh food in any way that we can, but we still have to maintain safety for our volunteers, as well as operate within our budget. So we are looking at, as we get closer to making a decision in regards to what path we're going to take around our innovation around serving our older adults, I will definitely come back to this body and share that update at that time. But one of the things that we're doing this month to incorporate and increase our safety of our volunteers, I've been working with our colleagues over at the Wayne County Health Department with Dr. Floyd and Sergio and Tim and that great team over there. We're going to have 2 volunteer virtual trainings for our volunteer teams to provide them with additional COVID-19 safety protocols that they should follow, because they are delivering food to people's homes and interacting with our older adults, to not only keep the older adults safe, but we want to keep those volunteers safe, because the average age of a Wayne County volunteer is around the high 60s, 67, 68 years old. So they definitely need to be careful. And as we go into the flu season, we have asked our colleagues over at the health department for our next senior services virtual event that many of you have participated in or sent your staff members to participate in. We want to bring to the awareness around flu shots and how important it is to stay safe from COVID during the flu season. And so we are looking to present that the last week of October. I will, as I always do, share with our chairwoman. I share the flyer and any marketing materials that we create around those events so that you can share those in your community. And we're really happy that we're starting to get some momentum with those virtual senior events. Our last one, we had folks who joined us not only from Wayne County and all around the county, which I was really happy, but also we had visitors from Macomb and Oakland County who joined us, who were older adults who wanted to get the information around our COVID-19 safety series that our health department presented for us. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take some of those, but we thank you for your support and thank you for the help that you provide us to help us serve older adults in Wayne County.
And thank you, Ms. Whitmore Davis, for all of your work that you do and your team. The question, and first, I do want to say that I apologize. I was supposed to attend your last meeting, and at the last hour, something came up, so I was unable to join. But I will definitely make it my business to be on at your next event. The question I was going to ask is, I know we do a lot in our senior services around helping to feed our folks and making sure that we do that safely, and that's of major importance. But I was wondering, I had a question that someone asked, and I wasn't really sure what we did around it. So I think it is important for the health of our seniors is to exercise, right? And I know because of COVID, our seniors are indoors and they're not as active as they have been in the past. I was wondering if you've thought about any programming around some type of activity, even if it's maybe part of your program could be where they get up and they stretch before and after. After your meeting where you're sitting on the phone for an hour, why not do something that they can do physically at home, and or maybe a program where there's for those that are more mobile, maybe you could have a day, a walk in the park or something like that before it gets too cold, of course, or even after the, the season change. Maybe that's something, and I just don't know if you've thought about that. So just a couple of ideas.
Thank you for those great ideas. Last session, we did a scavenger hunt, and that forced older adults to get up and go through their house to pick up items to try to win the scavenger hunt. And I was really happy. One of the older adults who got all the items, she was on the phone, so she couldn't even see what I was sharing, but I was telling everyone, I need you to bring a fan. Do you have water? Some of the items were around. We wanted them to see how important it is to stay hydrated. Sanitizer, we wanted them to show if they had sanitizer, because of course the subject that day was COVID safety at home. And also we had different items that they had to pick up, a fan, different things. So of course, we're with you. To give you some of the subjects that my team and I pulled together on subjects that we want to explore during these series is like a chair exercise and brain health, overall health and wellness. I'm trying to work on how to figure out how to do like a cooking demonstration where we would have someone do cooking and we would Zoom it so that all of the participants on how to continue to stay healthy, nourishment around strong nutrition, because that's important with fighting COVID, is to stay nourished and of course hydrated, but exercise is important. Something I hadn't thought about, which is a good idea, Chair McCormick, Baker McCormick, is that about the actual walking outside before the weather changes. So what I'll do to follow up on your ideas, check with my colleague Alicia Bradford over in Parks to see if there's some activities that the county is already having, and we can share that information so that we don't have to recreate a new event. People can transfer and participate in what the county is offering. And I'm sure there's some offerings, they're limited due to COVID, but I'll check in with her and I'll let you know. But that's a great idea, one I hadn't thought about.
All right. Well, that scavenger hunt sounds like that was a great idea and fun,
Thank
so
you. And we played,
and they're moving, and that's the thing, we need to keep moving.
Yeah. I tried to be a DJ, madam. I was playing my music. I played my Temptations, my Beach Boys, I wanted to do the whole gamut. I had rock, I had Simon and Garfunkel. I tried to find things that were in all different genres of music, and played the music before the event, and then during the scavenger hunt, even those who didn't participate got to listen to the music. So
some good music, yeah.
But I hope
well, thank you.
Join us in October, and I will give you a follow-up email, let you know what I found out in talking with Ms. Bradford.
Great. Any commissioners?
Yes, ma'am. This is Al.
Go right ahead.
Commissioner Harris, yes. I have a question. In the past, on the Meal on Wheel, we have some waiting list. Is there still anybody on waiting list, or we've been able to serve all the people who's in the need for that?
Thank you for that question, Commissioner Hayes. We do not have a waiting list. We have not had one in over probably almost 2 years. Once it was eliminated, we have not, and anyone, especially now due to the CARES Act, anyone over the age of 60 is eligible, and we don't turn anyone away. We are tracking those who are joining our roles through the CARES eligibility, as well as those who would be eligible if the CARES Act wasn't in place. But there's no wait list, which we're very happy about.
Okay, my second question through the chair. I know there are many organizations been passing through the virus situation, boxes of food. It have a lot of healthy product in it. And I know some of the senior citizens cannot go drive and go through the line to pick up boxes. Is there any communication with any organization to see if we could use our volunteer to pick up those boxes and take it to senior citizen?
Well, the TSA who is the area agency on aging that we are a contractor for, they received those food boxes that I think you're speaking of.
Right.
And they distribute those, and they also arrange for, if someone needs them delivered, they arrange for that. But our volunteers have not been engaged in delivering those boxes. But if you're speaking of the boxes that Wayne County, we've had several events around the county giving out grocery boxes. If there's a way, is that more what you're asking, sir? I want to make sure.
That would be excellent, because, you know, if they can't drive and they all in homebound, so it would be excellent idea to take those boxes to them, because it have a lot of good stuff the senior citizen could use.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. If through the chair, if you communicate with the county and any other organization you come aware of, is we willing to distribute to the senior citizen who can't drive and go out of their home, that would be excellent effort to give them that extra product they need for their nutrition. So maybe the chair of this committee, with our support, could give you help and hand if you need it, to communicate with the administration or any other company who provide those things.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want them to miss on anything because they homebound.
I understand.
agree.
I agree. I agree.
Mhm.
I will definitely connect with our colleagues over at the External Relations. Ms. China Cochran is our External Relations Director. I will talk with her because I know that's where in the past they've been coordinating some of those free food giveaway events that the county is in partnership with. So I will follow up on that, Commissioner Hados, and let you know.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Oh,
Madam
Thank you,
Chair,
Commissioner Haddis. Yes, Commissioner Scott.
thank you. Yeah, well, in my latest newsletter, we put a number. You just have to call my staff, and but that's in my district. Call my office, and we will set up a way that we can get them those food boxes.
oh, that's great. That's great.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott. And all right, well, we'll move on to the next.
Madam Chair, I got a quick
I'm
question.
sorry. Go
I
right
got a
ahead,
quick question
Commissioner.
on the Meals on Wheels, the Halal Program,
Oh, go right
especially in
ahead.
Dearborn. Ms. Davis,
Mhm.
with the COVID-19 situation, are you seeing any challenges in terms of delivery? Anything that could be done from our end to help you with your endeavor?
Well, as challenges we have not faced, I have good news, and thank you, Commissioner Beydoun, for asking about our Halal program. We just recently received a $25,000 mini grant from the Meals on Wheels America. We applied for that through the TSA because at the time we did not have a valid membership, but we do have our own valid membership now, but we didn't want to miss out on that opportunity. And our Halal program was awarded that $25,000, which helped us because our numbers have gone up. Our vendor, Country Chicken, who has he's just done an outstanding job. He and his team, they don't go out daily, but the frequency is twice a week. So they receive 3 meals on one day and then 2 meals on another day. And he and his team has not had any issues in regards to service interruption through COVID, but making sure that our Halal participants have received the same healthy, wonderful food that he provides them. And then we were able to get that additional funding support. But if we ever have a shortage, and Commissioner Baidoon, you have stepped in and helped us when we were short, when we first went into this pandemic, we definitely, we will reach out to all of you and ask you, do you have some helping hands? My colleague who's coming behind me, Director Betsarai, he has even helped us deliver, and we appreciate when folks step forward. But our Halal program, we're really happy to say, even with the increasing numbers, we have been able to meet the demand.
What is the total number right now for the Halal program?
Right now, it's about 90. I'll give you an exact off the top of my head. It's about 90 people that we're serving, and we usually serve around like 60, 65. But I can send you an email with the exact counts for this past week. I don't have them broken down.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Thank you for the update. And that's good news about the grant. That's very good news.
Yes. It went through HHS this past Tuesday. I thought it was going to be discussed. It was going to make it to today, but it was in the HHS package on page 17. It was way down there.
Okay.
Yes.
Pay attention to it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Chair, I have
Yes.
a meeting I have to attend, so I'm going to drop off, but I'm going to stay on as long as I can. But I have a
Okay.
meeting that starts at 2, so I will be dropping off, okay?
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Baidoon, for those
Thank you.
questions. Okay. All right, Madam Clerk, next item.
Item 2, a division update from Kwesi Betsarai, Director of the Division of Veteran Affairs, I'm sorry.
Mr. Betsarai. You here?
He is here. Let me see if he's muted.
And mute yourself. He's on mute now.
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me now?
We can
Yes,
hear
we
you now.
can.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was on the phone, so it didn't come through. So thank you for this opportunity to talk about what we're doing in veteran services. So we're doing a lot, and I think I probably don't do a good job of sharing all the good things that we're doing. Partially because my mind is just engaged on getting the work done. So, but I'll tell you, right now, we're still focused on delivering our services via remote, right? All the clients have to do is just give us a call at 313-224-5045. And we start the processing for those veterans and their families. We're wrapping up our fiscal year, so I've got some data on my desk that I probably need to properly vet and scrub on who's been getting served. And of course, the majority of those clients come from Detroit, because that seems to be the area that has been notified well in advance over the years that we have this service available. Our goal is to get out to the out county areas. I can say just this week, we reached out to Canton and built a relationship with Canton. We've been focused on Dearborn Heights. And so what we've been doing is looking at the data. And the data tells us, I'll get a printout, it'll tell me which zip codes have had the most service from us. And I've directed my outreach coordinator, that is full-time now, thanks to the county commission. They funded that from last year. I do have a full-time outreach coordinator. And so I've tasked him with scrubbing that list and figuring out which cities have not really taken advantage of our service, or maybe they're just not aware of our service. So he's scrubbing that list right now, and then we're going to target those areas. We're going to target those areas in a bunch of ways. One, we're going to go ahead in 2021 with an advertising campaign. And that advertising campaign will cover billboards, some radio stations, some direct mailings to areas that have not really used our service. So we're focused on that. We've increased our social media presence with the help of our outreach coordinator. Maybe a month ago, we probably had 4 Facebook friends, which is a big deal now. But we now have 100+ Facebook friends. And what we do on our Facebook group page, Wayne County Veteran Services, we We feature all the branches. So like every other day, we'll focus something about the Army, either be Airborne School, which is what I attended, or something about the Navy, the Air Force, Marines, or the Coast Guard. And it's really just a story so veterans can see themselves on our webpage, and then they can chime in. And then we ask them to go ahead and share that page so we can get additional friends, so we can increase our social media presence. And it's been working really well. So I'm glad I've got that staff working on that. And then just this morning, I did a video, talking to the Facebook friends on what we offer. And so that was pretty neat. It should be posted today. So I believe Commissioner McCormick is on one of our friends. So we've been focusing on that. Radio, billboards, direct mailings, colleges. Just this past week, we've reached out to University of Detroit, Wayne State, and WC3 to make sure that their financial aid departments let the veterans that are attending there know that we exist and that we can potentially help them as a matriculating those programs there, that we can help them financially. So we've been doing things in that area. And then also, so internally operations wise, I've really been focused on developing my staff. I've just laid on some training at the end of the month with HR on just what professionalism means, communication skills, because the commissioners and the public, you guys are my feedback loop. So I take that serious. When I've had some complaints or some comments about the staff and the phones being available or not being answered properly, or not suggesting that we're here to serve, that bothers me. So whenever I get that feedback, I do a quick team huddle, either through Zoom or in person. As today I'm in my office, I'm probably here maybe 3 or 4 times a week to make sure I'm here so that my staff gets FaceTime with me so we can talk about these issues. Because this is one of those things I just can't accept. And so a phone call, when you call my office, should not be a pain point. So I've stressed that we should not see that going forward in the future. Everybody's on board with me on that piece right there. So just want to make sure that those complaints, those comments, those suggestions are taken and I action them. So that's those pieces right there. I can just tell you, just based on our veterans database, the majority of the clients that we've served over the last year, fiscal year 2020, they've been Persian Gulf veterans. And Persian Gulf veterans could be Desert Storm, which was particularly Saudi, some of the Kuwait region. And then the next group would be Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom. So those clients are the ones that we're serving the most. And then second on that list would be Vietnam veterans. Vietnam veterans have been able to take or use our resources over the last year. And we have a couple, we don't have very many Korean War or WW2. And then surprisingly, we had one World War I veteran take advantage of our service last year. So that's not common, but we've had that. We have not had a lot of requests for the rent, because I anticipated a big push for that in August. Once the state said that some people can be evicted, we didn't have a large push. It didn't seem to be much more than we had the year before. So we're still combing the data, and then we can report out on what we're finding. Participation in the County Veteran Service.
Hello? Uh-oh. I think he went out. Dropped off here.
So we'll keep taking advantage of those money so we can help more veterans in Wayne County.
Okay, can you, Mr. Betsaray, Director,
Yes.
Can you repeat what you just said? Because you just dropped off completely.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Okay.
But
So
can you just
I'll
start from where you were? You were talking about the veterans that we served.
I'll go back to the Persian Gulf. So the Persian Gulf region would be Desert Storm, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom. So that's Saudi, Kuwait, Afghanistan, Iraq. Those regions, those soldiers and service members, they've taken maybe the bulk of the grants that we awarded in 2020.
Okay.
Right. We had some from Vietnam, right? That was second demographic. And we had one, surprisingly, from World War I. I didn't expect to see that, but we had one veteran from World War I use our services last year. So that's a good thing. His family was aware of it. He took advantage of it. That's great. We have a lot of numbers that we're still scrubbing because our database could update something from yesterday, but there's still something pending. Once the accountants push everything through, then it gives us a better read of what we've given and to whom. And so again, as I said before, we're targeting those areas, those zip codes that have not historically received large amounts from this division. And then we're also targeting them with advertising and outreach. So you should see richer briefings in the future on that, on hitting those areas, let's say the Romulus, Rockwood, those areas further out county, the Dearborns, the Detroits, the Highland Park, the Hamtramck, Allen Park, Lincoln Park. They're keenly aware of this service here, Southgate as well. So we're trying to get out to other areas. And I do understand that some areas, some of those veterans may not need aid, but I do want them to know that we exist to serve them. And then I talked about, of course, the development of staff. I think you guys heard that, right? Mm-hmm. So I believe you, oh, excuse me. Commissioners, I have a request from you. If you're going to send out a newsletter and you're going to tell your constituents to contact us, maybe if you could give me a heads up so I'll know what the verbiage, what the language is on that newsletter, because sometimes it's wrong. So I think right now there's a newsletter from Commissioner Scott that says they're going to provide weekly groceries, but they provided my number instead of her number.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So if you can, and let us know what you're pushing out just to make sure that it's proper so that we don't upset the constituents, because, you know, they sometimes don't want to write down another number and they sometimes want me to direct them to that office. I aims to please, but I want to.
Oh, well, let me apologize. I did not know that. And it just came out. You're right. It just came out.
Yeah. So a lot of times we just want to make sure we know so that we're all consistent on the same sheet, and that if that's what we're offering, then we can just, vet that public release right there. And then I know that Commissioner asked something about burn pits, right?
Yes.
Burn pits, for those who are unaware, burn pits are what the military uses when you're downrange or when you're deployed, right? And I'm a veteran of Desert Storm and Operation Iraqi Freedom. But in Desert Storm, because you're in the middle of the desert, you're not in any urban area, you're in the middle of the desert. So you have to do something with that body waste. And so what happens, they'll create a burn pit, they'll dig it, they'll have the bulldozers excavate a large hole, and they'll throw all the waste in there. And that's the body waste, that's vehicular waste from fixing vehicles out there. There'll be tires, there can be old plywood that you use to build a temporary structure. All of that debris gets thrown into a great big burn pit. And those toxic fumes that are accelerated by usually aviation gas, or we call it MO gas in the desert and in the military, they pour that on there, and these thick black fumes cover the area, and those military veterans, they can inhale that. And that could be their detail every other day. And so as a result, the veterans have demonstrated that they have respiratory issues. Some consider it asthma. Sometimes it develops into COPD, and it's all based on maybe some pre-existing conditions and the frequency of which they've been exposed to those fumes, right? I had some exposure to it. So, but what's happening, the VA is looking at how do we address these issues? Of course, first they want to address it medically. And then there's also maybe a counseling component, because that person's life is going to change. And then they start looking at compensatory issues. How do we compensate these veterans for that? But some of the challenges right now, and they've left the burden on the military veterans to prove that they were exposed, to prove that they have these conditions. So there's a lot of conversation just as recently as the last 2 days about what should be done. So how has that impacted my office? That has not impacted my office as far as veterans asking me about that. Those types of claims usually go to the Veterans Affairs, the federal government, VA.gov, or they call the 1-800-827-1000 number, and then they can take those steps from there. But I, as a Desert Storm veteran, I have a couple buddies who have been impacted by the burn pits. And sometimes those burn pits are only based on bodily waste, coupled with aviation fuel, and that could have some definitely will have some negative effects on those veterans when they return stateside, coupled with the sand that blows in these regions, because you have windstorms or sandstorms that look like tornadoes. So all of these things combined, when the veterans come back stateside, present these challenges. So there's a lot of conversation about what to do about that.
Thank you for that. And thank you for all of what you're doing. Now, who is the outreach coordinator that we have?
Yes, Deron Batchelor. Initially, he was a part-time, more so a contractor, but he's brought on full-time today, October 1st.
Oh, he started October 1st. Okay.
Mm-hmm. He started in August temporarily, but now he's full-time.
Okay. And you talked about the number of veterans from different wartime eras. Mm-hmm. How many females do we get that have came through, or I don't know if you have that number, female veterans for assistance?
We have not broken it down by females.
Okay.
It just lists them into, say, for example, Persian Gulf, Vietnam,
okay,
and the various campaigns.
All right.
Theaters of battle, but it does not annotate females. And I have them come across my desk, but I have not kept a tally. But that may be a worthwhile exercise to see how many females come through.
Yes, I would be interested in knowing the statistics on female veterans and how we assist them, because it's still said that we aren't really supported as much, and I don't again, I don't know why that is, but or why that's said, I should say, but I'd be interested in keeping the data also in divided in that way, if we can.
I think in my office you would see more of the financial components of maybe some housing. Those are the questions that I get asked by females that call our office. What housing solutions are there? And as you know, there are very few in Wayne County and in the state and in the federal government for female veterans, because they have a unique set of challenges. And a lot of it's sexual trauma. There's PTSD as being in that environment. And then a lot of the female veterans have children, and there are no places for them to live with children. It's a pretty much all male barracks. And so there is no place for families. So those are things that seem to plague women.
And is there any in Wayne County for females? I know there wasn't. Is there, has there been any movement on that at all?
There has not been any movement on that, but I would welcome an opportunity to talk to some state legislators and other stakeholders on that. But there's definitely a gap that we should maybe look at filling. But I welcome that conversation of bringing all those bodies together. And it could be the nonprofits, it should be some banks, and the state legislature, and that would be, that would lend itself to some healthy conversations on what actions to take.
Okay, well, maybe we can
of land in Wayne County, particularly in Detroit.
Right, we can meet and talk about that further.
Sites for the
okay, and I asked about the burn pit for you to talk about that, because a lot of people, like constituents, and those that were veterans in that environment don't know that there is litigation in that area, as well as there are currently bills that are being passed, or they are on the floor right now to be passed, that deals with the burn pit issue. Because they're finding more and more veterans with various ailments related to the ingestion of those toxins. So I just wanted our committee to be familiarized with that, and that they'll probably hear more in the future about the burn pits and that litigation. And the other question, you know what, I'll let the committee see if they have any questions, and I'll go back to what I wanted to discuss as well. Any other commissioners have any questions? No other commissioners?
Madam the Chair, this is Al.
Yes, go right ahead, Commissioner.
You talked a little bit earlier about communication with every district and what's going on with the veteran in each district. I don't know if Mr. Betsarai have any success communicate with many organizations and different cities to keep the line of communication together, and that be the right thing to do, because they have the number of their own community, or like the VFW, the American Legion, all those organizations. I don't know if you have any effort with those. And it's my question, but I have good news too. Yesterday, the city of Wayne cut the ribbon on Veteran Memorial by the City Hall, which was very good and honorable to have in front of the City Hall Veteran Memorial.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's awesome. I would have loved to have gotten an invite for that. And so those are the things we want to, you know, we want to make sure we're included in those processes and those events, because it's a really big deal. And then we can have that visibility on our website as well of what they're doing. And so that's where there's a gap, because sometimes people don't even realize that we exist. And we're referring to the municipalities, not just the citizens. Municipalities don't know that we exist, and that's a problem.
Would be excellent idea if you know, Wayne County have 43 municipality, is to send 43 email to them, let them know who you are, what you're doing, and
Yes, sir.
your email, your telephone number. That would be shortcut right straight to the municipality. And like that, they have no excuse to know we don't know who to communicate with.
Right.
So that, you know, really excellent idea to communicate with them, let them know who you are.
Right.
Yes.
And just one quick note, we were talking about veterans and assistance. Please make sure you tell your constituents that the Veterans Affairs is open, but the majority of their meetings are done remote. So if you have people need to understand that they'll even do a doctor's visit remote if it's not something that requires you to be hospitalized. So, you know, tell them to still call at 1-800-827-1000 number and start that process. The VA is not shut down. They may have a reduced staff, and they may have executed some pandemic precautions, COVID-19 precautions. I was just at the VA hospital last 2 weeks, and they'll screen you just like any other place. They'll take your temperature and ask you if you've had any of these symptoms, and then they'll go ahead and take you back there for your appointment. So make sure you share that with your constituents. They are open for business.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you, Mr. Betsarai.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Haddis. I think that's a great suggestion to send Wayne County Veterans Department's information to all of the municipalities.
We're working on that. We are working on that for sure.
Yeah. Any other questions from committee members or any other commissioners? So the other question that I had the Hidden Heroes Summit, I sent you over that information, and this talks to caregivers. And I'm
Mhm.
not sure how many calls you get from caregivers of veterans to help with resources. And maybe we can also relay some of the information and resources that are provided through the Hidden Heroes program.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've looked at that and if you will have someone attend that, because they will have a lot of information that will be very helpful.
Well, first, thank you for bringing that to our attention last year. We had some conversations last year, did not receive a lot of traction on it as far as getting volunteers and people who want to participate. A lot of times when the caregivers call, they didn't want to participate. So I said, okay, at least I know that I gave them an opportunity. But what I've done this year is I've assigned my new outreach coordinator as a point of contact. So he'll be the person who will be attending all those meetings. He can back brief me on what we need to do so that we can engage the caregivers. But we do have a fair share, significant amount of phone calls from a caregiver. And sometimes it's a family friend. Sometimes it's a daughter, it's a son. And so we want to make sure they know about these resources. So we will have a richer report, hopefully in November, on what we're doing with that Hidden Heroes program.
Right.
But we are keeping that alive. It is a worthwhile campaign, considering how many phone calls I get from caregivers executing work for veterans.
Right, right. And then speaking of November, do you have something planned around Veterans Day or anything coming up in relation to Veterans Day?
So I don't have anything planned proper, say that it's a Wayne County event, but I plan on participating. There's a couple state legislators that want to do something locally. I plan on participating with that. And everything is pretty much gone inward via computers or Zoom meetings.
Right.
So we have some ideas planned on what to do with that. I expect to be working with the Treasurer's Office, just like last year for Veterans Month. That will usually come at the end of the month. But then we're also working with some veteran service organizations to see how we can partner with them and be a part of their Veterans Day initiatives as well.
Okay, great. Once you do have something in place that either you're going to partner with, will you disseminate that information to us or?
Yes,
Okay,
it's good
cool.
news. It's good news.
Great. Yeah, that way we can get that out as well. And then the last question I have is around COVID related deaths and also veteran related suicides. Do you have any statistics on those numbers?
No, for both. We did not see an uptick in deaths just because of COVID-19. A lot of them were older veterans. So it didn't appear to be triggered by COVID-19. However, we did not collect data and ask if it was COVID-19 related. You may have one or two that will offer that, but we haven't been tracking if it was COVID-19 related deaths. I mean, we could collect that data as well, but we know the impact of it. And this is, again, we're expecting a second wave. So we probably, because people are getting much more relaxed, they're accepting the invites to events. So we probably will see an uptick in that. Should we see an uptick, then maybe we can have a different conversation about funding sources, maybe increasing our burial funds, but we haven't seen anything significant for COVID-19, nor have we had conversations about suicides during this period either.
Okay, so because we know that the numbers of suicides have increased in military veterans that are active. And so I was wondering if there was any change in the number of inactive or veterans that have served and maybe they're having a hard time dealing with the current pandemic?
I have not had any conversations in this office, again, with the phone calls, or I would say we have a call log and it tells us what these calls are related to. And a lot of them are just for requests for VA benefits, but we haven't seen anybody call and say they need a suicide line, or they're where they want to talk about that.
Okay.
But we have not seen, and I've not had any conversations with my staff where they will come and let me know. I've had people ask for birth control pills, so we route them to the right place. So we get a variety of requests for assistance, but we've not had any of late referencing suicide.
Okay, and then the last question is around funding. We had the grant that we have currently, and I know it ends in December, I believe, if that's
No,
correct.
it ended yesterday. The County Veteran
did
Service
it?
Grant fiscal year 2020. So now we received another grant for a smaller amount, and so we have that grant that we'll be using for fiscal year 2021. There may be an opportunity that the state legislature will allow those funds to stay with us, but they'd have to vote. They'd have to get enough information from all the counties that suggests that they didn't have enough time to use those funds. And like in our case, we had 3 months to give away $500,000.
Right.
That's
How
not
did we do?
That's not the normal operational flow. We may have given away a little bit over $100,000. I haven't done all the tallies yet, but so we had some success, and that success will come this time around once we start advertising it.
Right.
A lot of people were reluctant to come out, which makes sense. But now we're going to go ahead and advertise and push it through the airwaves and through the billboards, potentially through the movie theaters once they open, that people know that we exist. We've done some radio spots. We've already done the work internally in the office with our communications team, so that when they're ready, when they find an opportunity, we're ready to go ahead and execute. For example, WGPR, I was on WGPR a month ago. I was on WWJ 2 weeks ago, telling people about our services. So we're getting out there. We just need more opportunities and some more frequency.
And when will the billboards go up?
We are working on those processes now through procurement.
Okay.
So we expect it to go up this year, before this calendar year, before 2021 starts. There's a need. So we picked out some billboards in those underserved areas, say Romulus. There's some certain intersections on the east side of Detroit that we want to get. Romulus, Southgate is the first batch, E-Course, and then we're looking at some other locations. And so we have certain vendors that have those locations. We're scrubbing those lists so we can get out there. So we'll use radio stations, WRIF, some urban channels, and some top 40 channels, radio channels, stations rather, to get the word out there as well. So we're trying to come at a bunch of different angles to make sure we catch our veterans.
Great. Well, great job. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
For all you do. All
And
right.
let me apologize again. I am sorry. I don't know what we can do now because the newsletter just went out. It should have been my office number. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Excuse me. That's quite all right.
All right. All right. Well, thank you, Director Betsarai, and you keep up the good work.
Thank you so much.
Good
All
job.
right.
Good job.
All right.
Thanks, sir.
Madam Clerk, next item.
4, a discussion on County Veterans Day recognition with Kwesi Betsarai.
Okay. Well, that was part of the discussion, so we took care of, both of those items.
E, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
Are there any other matters to the committee? Any other matters? All right, no other matters. We'll move to the next item.
Public comments?
Any public comments, any emails? And if you can unmute everyone just to make sure. Any
Everyone's
public,
unmuted.
okay, any public comments? Any public comments? And there were no emails, right?
No, no emails.
All right, and nothing in the chat. Next item.
Adjournment.
So move.
Support.
Support.
Thank you all. Have a good day.
You too.
You too. Thank you. Good job.